Great. Well, here they are. These are the new saddle mounts that replaced the old Corvette ones that came on the coilovers originally. I filmed multiple videos yesterday on fabbing this thing up, welding it, prepping all these pieces for welding, machining this collar down to get it flat so everything would work, and in a bit of stupidity, took the files off the camera because the memory card was full and realized I needed to delete the files on the card. So I put all my raw video files on my laptop, and then instead of deleting the memory card on the camera, I deleted all my raw video. And for some reason it didn't go to the recycling bin, it just went. So, what I kind of explained yesterday was I use these guys for my, oh, that's not working. For my files. Man, this razor is not very sharp. And these guys are relatively fast. And basically what I did is I made everything slotted. They worked out pretty well. I sent them these files. I believe it was I think it was Sunday night, and these were on my doorstep Thursday when I got home from work. So if you can't see them, they're Send Cut Send right there. They're on Instagram. And the reason I use them is I don't have a great CAD program. Basically, I don't have any CAD programs. I have design programs, and I draw all this stuff up in Adobe Illustrator, and they take Illustrator files and DXF files, so that's what I send them, and the parts come back great. The only screw up I made was the holes for the bolts that mount the bottom side of the coilovers. For some reason, in another one of my genius moments, I hadn't put the hole in the center of this yet, and I just transferred this hole over to this guy. But this takes a 14mm bolt. So, but not a big deal. I used my Unibit on the two I've already fabbed, and it literally punches that hole out perfect, so everything works. And there's literally only 4 pieces here, so that's great. That's it for that. So, there it is, ready to go. Next thing I have to do is get these on and start fabbing up the upper mounts for the coilovers in the rear, and then hopefully the truck will be sitting on its own in the back, and then it's just slowly working towards the front. And today's video is brought to you by, it's not really brought to you by these guys, just a good beer, Drownlands Deep Terra. If you're ever in Albany, New York, there's a beer bar called Delaware Supply. When they open back up, stop by if you're into beer. That's great. Yeah. Oh, that's not good. Jesus Christ. Got everything set up on the rear. As you can see, my janky rear upper control arm that was just spare parts I had laying around that I tacked together just to hold the place because the stalker was so big. To get the shock where I needed it, to get the coilover where I needed it, the stalker wouldn't work. So I just whipped that up to hold the place, to get this in, figure out where this is going to go. And when I ordered my Clecos, I ordered that clamper. I didn't know if I'd ever need it. It just came in handy because it used the shoelace to locate the coilover where it's going to sit. Now I got to order some tube, get some of that stuff, and start making these upper mounts. Order rear brake rotors. I put the hardware for because the hardware for these guys needs to be 8 millimeters longer than the stock stuff because the thickness of this, where the bearing mounts is 8 millimeters thicker, so I put those in my Cart and McMaster car. And yeah, hopefully start buttoning up some of the back of this stuff. Got to get this fuel cell out of here and trim these still. Still got to make a sump for that thing. Fun times. Well, I don't know if you heard it at the beginning of the video or you can hear it, but this thing is crapping out on me. It's my bender. I don't know why. It's a spring return cylinder, so it's only got single hose in, single hose out, single hose in and out, both. And what happens is when I fire it up, it runs out just fine, it'll bend, but when I go to retract it, it makes a weird noise, and if I hold the button for about 5 seconds, it pops the breaker. So something's wrong. I posted some stuff up on Facebook asking a few friends, and probably the next thing to do is this guy is going to get taken apart. I guess there's return screens and stuff in here that filter out crap that would get in the oil reservoir. So that's going to be the next thing, is taking this apart, cleaning it out, making sure everything's okay, putting it back together, and seeing what happens. Because if that doesn't fix it, then I don't know what I'm going to do. Because that's literally the next thing I need to start continuing on with this thing, is get my tube coming and get this bender going. So yeah, that's why this video is pretty short. And I mentioned it earlier that I had all my raw footage from welding up the lowers on the new shocks. I deleted it all on accident, and for some reason didn't go to the recycling bin. It just disappeared. So yeah, that's fun. Oh well. Till the next one.